From Amateur Radio Newsline Report number 2261, these are the Ham Nation headlines for Wednesday, March 3rd, 2021. Ham radio operators are partnering with the U.S. Geological Survey in helping to report real-time details about seismic activity and earthquake damage, especially when other means of communication have gone offline.
They're using the radio email platform WinLink to carry data from the survey's questionnaire-based system known as DiFi for Did You Feel It? ARES members transmit the DiFi reports even if an earthquake has knocked down the region's internet. Receiving stations outside the earthquake region receive the data contained in the WinLink transmission and forward it to the USGS via their own internet access. The DiFi system gathers macro-seismic intensity data, allowing scientists to more accurately pinpoint where people felt the earthquake and at what intensity. An estimated 90% of DiFi reports are sent by observers within the first hour of an earthquake. Hams can transmit the reports over VHF, HF, and even local high-speed mesh networks, many of which have the ability to interface with satellite-connected cells on wheels. Cells on wheels have proven useful in emergency response already during the California wildfires of 2017 and 2018. ARES is now promoting the DiFi protocol and training hams in California, Washington, Arizona, Hawaii, and Mexico. For Amateur Radio Newsline, I'm Ralph Squillace, KK6ITB.
A New England ham's battle to put up radio towers is over at last, and he can start construction.
Zach Manganello, K1ZK, may well consider himself the recipient of a towering victory in every sense of those words. The longtime amateur spent the greater part of 2020 defending his proposal to install 2 radio towers on his property in the rural part of Vermont. Last summer, neighbors objected to his original proposal for the 84-foot towers, saying they were too high and were damaging to their views. Zach downsized his plans and tried again. He even conducted visual impact tests, floating a balloon to simulate the height of the tower to ensure neighbors' views would remain unaffected. This month, the Telecommunications Review Board of the town of Shelburne granted Zach the right to go ahead with 2 towers, one at 40 feet and the other at 60 feet, both supported by guy wires. The local board decided to give its support to Zach's tower project after being convinced that having backup emergency communications in the neighborhood was a local asset. The panel was impressed as well by Zach's willingness to share the educational aspects of amateur radio with the greater community. All this came as the hoped-for good news for Zach, a lifetime radio enthusiast since his childhood in Maine and a ham since the age of 14. For Amateur Radio Newsline, I'm Kent Peterson, KC0DGY.
If you know a young radio amateur who can't wait for camp season, have we got some good news for you.
Organizers have affirmed their commitment to hosting this year's Youth on the Air camp, even as campers from across the Americas who were accepted into last year's canceled camp are completing priority registration now. The camp is scheduled to be open in Ohio from July 11th to the 16th with COVID-19 safety restrictions in place. Camp Director Neil Rapp, WB9VPG, said in an announcement that a final decision will be made in April about whether the camp must be postponed for another year. In the meantime, applications will be accepted in March for any prospective campers who were not a part of last year's group. The camp will host a maximum of 30 youngsters. Neil wrote, quote, "We are truly hopeful that we can proceed with the camp this summer. We have some exciting plans. We are also looking at an operating event in the summer. Stay tuned," end quote. For Amateur Radio Newsline, I'm Jack Parker, W8ISH.
Finally this week, the nominating period for the 2021 Newsline Bill Pasternak WA6ITF Young Ham of the Year Award is now open. You'll find the nominating form and all information on our website, arnewsline.org. The presentation will take place at the Huntsville Hamfest in August. More information on the Huntsville Hamfest can be found at hamfest.org. And that's all from the Amateur Radio Newsline, your independent source for amateur radio news for 4 decades and counting at arnewsline.org. With Ralph Squillace, KK6ITB, Kent Peterson, KC0DGY, Neil Rapp, WB9VPG, Karen Eve Murray, KD2GUT at the news desk in New York, and our news team across the globe. I'm Don Wellbanks, AE5DW. 7-3. We'll see you next time here on Ham Nation.